The Malaysian celebrities, VIPs and T20s really love their Alphards and Alphyrs. It's iconic, spacious, premium and comfortable. And for years, it has reigned supreme in the luxury MPV market. But now, there's Chinese competitors coming in the market, and this is one of them, the Denza D9. The biggest differences is, this is fully electric. Can it take on Alphard and Alphyrs? Let's find out. Back in 2022, they called this the Alphard-Killer in China. And well, you can see why. This car was designed by former lead of Audi and Lamborghini, Wolfgang Egger. Safe to say, he knows a thing or two about presence. Design-wise, it blends familiar BYD elements, silver trim and a bold stance. My favorite part has to be this, the rear arrow-inspired taillights. It's meant to mimic the swift motion of an arrow and it just works. Overall, the car looks sleek, subtle and premium without being over the top. The D9 also is way bigger than Alphard, not surprisingly because it's not built around Japan's tight road restriction. But there are still some familiar cues around the car, like this. The BEV's front grille kinda reminds me of the Toyota Esquire. Against its Chinese competitors, it's not pushing boundaries like the Zeekr 009 or Xpeng X9, but it holds its own. Traditional buyers will appreciate this kind of safe look. In Malaysia, both the premium all-wheel drive and advanced front-wheel drive variant like this one virtually looks almost the same except for the DRL slabs in front here and a tiny all-wheel drive dash. Basically, no matter which variant you get, they both still hold the same road presence. Step inside the Denza D9 and it feels less like an MPV, but more like a luxury private jet. And speaking of luxury, this has a soft close feature on the door. Check this out. At the front, you are greeted by this massive 15.6-inch touchscreen that controls a lot of features and functions. Also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And then this nice 10.25-inch digital cluster which is sharp and crisp. And this nice thick 2-spoke steering wheel, which feels really chunky and good. Other than that, all the materials inside this car at the front here feels very solid and nice to touch. What I really appreciate is the physical buttons all around the car, like the steering wheel here. This one on the right controls the volume, audio, and also the call, mic. Then on the left you have cruise control, the camera, then the window switches and door locks are all within reach on the right side. And move on to the middle, this gear knob diamond shape, very Rolls Royce, very Bentley-like. And also there's control for sliding doors, the trunk, driving modes, and aircon, a lot more stuff. So to me, this is very good because most manufacturers nowadays they like to cram everything in the touchscreen. That's actually kind of annoying and dangerous. Other than that, there's also switches, buttons up here for the sunroof, the wireless charger. Then for storage wise, you have 2 cup holders, and there's cup holders here on the right side and the left side, and also storage. A big storage box here. There's one more storage box small on the right side, and then there's one in the middle. And best part is there's one here underneath, secret one. Not so secret lah, but yeah, overall it's quite good. Now let's move to the back where the magic really happens. As the automatic sliding door glides open with a nice electronic whir, you are greeted by this nice lounge-like cabin that immediately sets the tone. This captain chair, first impression, is very comfortable, cozy, leather feels nice, and man, feels like a sofa at home. And one thing I like is the touchscreen features here, which controls lots of things, like the aircon, the music, fridge, sunroof, and whatnot. If you're not familiar with the adjustment through the screen, you can also adjust with a physical button on the side, which I really appreciate. One thing I really like, if you press the seat function, there's this pause key where you press, controls the front passenger seat that allows you to recline and also move back and forth. So as a boss, it's a pretty much appreciated option. And also there's another feature called zero gravity, which means the seat turns into sort of like a massage, relaxing chair, and if you're on the jam, the driver will suffer, but for you, just relax, man. Other features include this tray table, a storage compartment below it, high Denza voice command, 14 Dynaudio sound system, 3 wireless charger, 1 in front row like I mentioned earlier, 2 second row, 1 USB-A port and 5 USB-C port, plenty of cup holders, even there's a hidden one in the middle of the captain chair, it's panoramic sunroof, and for the rear passengers, second row and the last row, there's this aircon vent on top, which is nice, much appreciated features in Malaysia. And check this out, a 6.8 litre built-in fridge. This is something the Alphard-Killer doesn't have, and god, this is really awesome. And lastly, entering the third row, while it may not be as plush as the captain chair or even the driver's and passenger seat in front, it still has equally impressive. For a start, there's plenty of space behind and plenty of leg room. It's quite comfortable for adult. And when you recline using the strap on the left side here, on the right side of course, even the bench moves forward. So this is quite good and comfortable. And you also have a center armrest, you can chill, and there's cup holders, 2 of them on each side, and 1 USB-C. And if you need more space, there's also storage behind of the captain chair, which is really helpful. And obviously, there's aircon vent behind, so stay cool. And to me, that's plenty of luxury, all for less than a Raycon Alphard. The advanced front-wheel drive has a single front motor that makes 313 PS and 316 Nm of torque, which sounds plenty, but due to the 2.8 tons curb weight, it takes 9.5 seconds to get from 0 to 100 km per hour. At a max 160 kW DC, you go from 30% to 80% SOC in 30 minutes and recoup 150 km of range in 10 minutes. It will also accept up to 11 kW AC. For safety, you get 8 airbags, 4 isofix mounts across row 2 and 3, while the ADAS, which utilizes 5mm wave radars, 8 ultrasonic radars, 4 surround cameras and a driver monitoring camera, comprise of these features. Now the question is, how does it drive? The Alphard and Alphard are long known for their cloud-like ride. It's soft, smooth and oftentimes floaty. The Denza D9 is still floaty, but at low speed is much more firmer and planted, a bit surprising considering the car's sheer size. However, the moment you go up to speed on the highway, going through undulation, that feeling diminishes. Now the floatiness is much more strong and you get that rocking motion or the seesaw motion where you go that front, rear, left, right. The up front is not too bad, but for those at the rear, sitting further away from the car center mass is much more noticeable. So for me, if you drive from balik kampung or long distance, it's not exactly more comfortable. Then we have the frequency selective damping, which doesn't work as consistent as it should be. You know, sometimes it's stiffer, sometimes it's softer, so it's a bit everywhere. As for the steering wheel, it's still on the vague side, but it has much more better feedback compared to the Alphard-Killer. So in that sense, it's a much more engaging drive. You'll enjoy it, taking through the corners, you know, and chill driving where you can feel where the car is going, how the steering is giving you all the feedback from the road, and that's a good thing. So as for power delivery for the dual motor, on a normal mode, you press, it goes. But on normal mode itself, the brakes, initial bite is a bit light and you have to press further. But when on sports mode, the moment you press, it bites even harder and that takes some getting used to. Quite interesting, huh? On the other side, the lane keeping assist is actually not that smooth. It pulls the steering left and right a bit more aggressively. So I believe the manufacturers should spend more time perfecting this, making it more smoother, like the Japanese brands or the continental brands. And because if you're a new EV user, this might be a weird sensation or a scary experience. At 110 km per hour, our road legal speed limit, actually the car is quite quiet thanks to the all-around double glazed windows usage. And this is actually much better than the Alphard-Killer. And if you enjoy the quietness, you really appreciate this one. And as for the Dynaudio system, this has decent bass and okay clarity, but for an audiophile, it's not up to that level yet. The infotainment, the touchscreen and whatnot is smooth, very fast, and the display is clear on both, also the digital cluster, but there are still some translation issues and there's a lot of learning curve to get used to because there's so many things inside. The second row captain chair looks plush and very premium. However, the Napa leather can get you feel a little bit sticky, especially in the Malaysian hot weather, so you must take note of that. Then the ventilated seat, it helps, but the breathability is not there. It feels like the air is trapped, it's not going anywhere. I think like other cars I experienced, is much more airy. That's the word. Then, if you want to use the reclinable position, it's best if you are 180 cm taller and whatnot, or else your leg will start sticking up. It looks a bit funny. One let down though, and I feel like it's a really huge one, is the lack of rear infotainment or entertainment system. Why? This MPV, big, comfortable, and you want to take it balik kampung, long distance. Why don't you have a factory installed entertainment system behind? Takkanlah I have to go get a third party aftermarket system to install this car and possibly void the warranty. So, come on Denza, add that on the next revision of facelift. The customer will really appreciate that. If you're wondering what's the energy consumption of the Denza D9, we are getting 20.5 kilowatt hours per 100 km, with average speed of 22 km per hour, because we've been driving this a lot in town. There's a bit of highway there and here, and honestly it's not that bad. However, because the car weighs 2.8 tons, whenever I see the digital cluster, the percentage drops actually quite fast, and the range changes there and here. So that feels a little bit unsettling, but if you are into this kind of cars, there's fast chargers and whatnot, shouldn't be any issue. With prices starting from 259,000, the Denza D9 massively undercuts the Alphard, the Zeekr 009 and Xpeng X9. It may not be as opulent as the 009 or futuristic like the X9, but spec for spec is impressive. Warranty is comprehensive too. 6 years or 150,000 per vehicle, 8 years or 160,000 for the battery, and motor or motor controller warranty. It's not perfect, but it's a bargain, especially for value-conscious buyers. Since its Q1 2025 introduction in Malaysia, the Denza D9 made a strong impression with over 800 bookings, and also Denza delivering over 200 units in quick succession. Believe it or not, the advanced variant here outsold the premium variant simply because of the price value it offers. Make no mistake though, this is not up to Alphard or the Fire level refinement, but for the price to value ratio you get, this is simply on the league on its own. Plus, you get the official support and full warranty coverage compared to the recon version of the Alphard or the Fire, so there's some peace of mind. The Denza D9 ticks a lot of the boxes: sharp looks, a well-packaged equipment, a nice premium looking interior, and for the more luxury you get for the price you pay, it's simply outstanding. If you're in the market for this kind of MPV, but you don't want an ICE powertrain, but an electric powertrain, this one's very hard to ignore. Till then.